folks, it is time to talk about the Warner's Safe Rheumatic Cure bottle that I found. Now I have done some research on it and found the exact one right here. Warner's Safe Rheumatic Cure, trademark, Rochester, New York, USA. And it is a pint. Amber DC/BC. I'm not sure what that means. That might be the color or something. But it says it may appear with large letters in the word Warner's and USA. Later versions dropped USA and the letters are all the same size. $85 to $100. And as it says about large letters in Warner's and USA, let me show you here exactly what that means. You see the W is quite big and the S is quite big on that. Actually the S and the R and the C are all pretty big, but Warner's does have big letters in it. And Rochester down here, it's got a big R, NY is small, and then it's got a big A on the end there. I'm not sure why they did the big A. Maybe just to have a big one there and a big one there. But it does have USA on it, so we know this is an earlier version. I do not know an exact date on this bottle. It has a blob top, as I believe is what they're called. And looking on here, how they make these, I'm pretty sure, is they make the bottle and then they put the top on after. If you can see in here, kind of could see it better when I had it in macro mode earlier, but there's a little line here, and that's the glass top that comes up, and it's very crude and rough. You can kind of see it on there, but I believe they put this blob top on after the fact. You can kind of see it in there, but it's a very, very cool looking top, and I have never found one exactly like this. Checked it over quite thoroughly. It's got lots of bubbles. It's even got some bubbles on the outside here. And it's got some weird lines. These are not cracks. These are lines going through the back here. You can see a line there and a line there. Sorry, the acorns are ridiculous. Dropping on top of the house. But tons of bubbles. Beautiful. Bubbles all over it. It does have a few scratches on it, like on the raised part of the bottle. It has a strange line, bunch of little wavy lines going through here. I'm not sure if this is blown glass, or I think they call it molded. But you can see the seam goes to right there, right here. So we can kind of date it from that, which I believe is like 1870s-ish. If it goes above it just a little bit, it's kind of hard to tell for sure, but beautiful, beautiful bottle. And there's two different versions of this bottle other than this. There's one that trade is spelled wrong, TRDA, as it think is how they had it on the air bottle, and Mar, M-A-R-E. This one I believe is a K. Looking at it very closely, it's really hard to tell, but I believe it's a K. I don't think it is an E. So yes, we have an earlier one. Got the blob top. Absolutely gorgeous. And the little, if you remember, and if you watched the video, the top of this had like some kind of crustacean looking thing on it with a whole bunch of dirt up top. That was actually the medicine that was still in this bottle. It was kind of like laying down like that in the hole, or like this in the hole. So the medicine that was inside was covering the entire front of this bottle. And what I basically did, I took all the stuff off the top. The top here was completely filled with it. You see it's kind of a weird shape too, that top. It's not round. It's quite weird. Very misshapen all over on this bottle, which is wonderful. It gives it some character. But all the medicine inside, I actually got some left over in my hands still. If you can see that, little black dots. It's definitely medicine. It was like the stickiest tree sap. And it was all mixed and coated. And I put lemon juice in it for 1 day overnight and let it sit. And then I took like a stick and put it in there. It knocked it off. It all came off in one big sheet. So I had to get a metal rod and I shoved it in the top and just basically chopped it all up and chopped it as little as I could get it, you know, and just took me about an hour to get all the medicine out of here. But it was very, very cool. And the stuff that was on top was like as hard as glass. So hard to get off, but I got it off and we got it cleaned up. There's only a little bit left on the very bottom in the corner there that I could not get. Just the tiniest little bit, but that'll come over. I got some water in there. Just trying to soak it all up, basically. But yeah, $85 to $100. It's not cracked, it's not chipped. Just has a couple light scratches on the front that might buff out, basically. I think it's just from the sand. Since we have insanely sandy soil here. That's all it is sand. Yeah, there's little sand marks all over it. Rarest, awesome bottle I've ever found. I'm glad it's the older one. I'm glad it's got the little blob top. There's so many different kinds of these bottles, and we got a good one for sure. Absolutely wonderful, wonderful bottle. So happy to find it. And in 2 days, I'm going back. And if you remember, I found the gland sauce bottle. That bottle was only in production from 1877 until 1880 with those letters on the front. So we can pretty much date that site as to like late 1870s. I mean, they could have thrown it out after something they had on the shelf for a couple years, but like I said, the coin I found there was 1876, and all the relics with the patent numbers on them were like 1860, 1870, 1880, and all of the shells that I found, casings, are all rimfires. Acorns. So yeah, very old site. One of the oldest I've ever been on. I found that site years ago, like 3 years ago. And just decided to go back on a whim, and we scored with the dump. Awesome. Alright folks, hope you enjoyed this little update. I'm very, very happy, and I will see you all in a couple days. Have a good one.